Hey, what is up you guys? My name is Patrick, and if you are new to this channel, welcome. Normally I am in a theme park, but because of the state of the world at the moment, that is not possible. So we're gonna do a little bit of room content until the theme parks open again, and if you couldn't tell from the title of this video, I want to talk about my favorite top 10 Disney attractions from around the world. Now note, I have not been to Hong Kong Disneyland or Shanghai Disneyland, so Shanghai Pirates and Mystic Manor will not be on the list, although if I've been to those parks, I'm sure they would be, but this is just my personal top 10 list from Disney attractions around the world. Let's hit it. Starting off with number 10, making our way over to Walt Disney World in Epcot Center, it is the hottest girl in school, Spaceship Earth. Now, I'm sure some of you may be surprised that Spaceship Earth made it onto my top 10 list, but honestly, she is iconic. Judi Dench's voice is soothing, it's knowledgeable.
Remember how easy it was to learn your ABCs? Thank the Phoenicians. They invented them.
It's a good time to sit down and relax, especially after drinking around the world. I love seeing all the animatronics. I'm very curious how the ride will be updated once Epcot 2.0 comes out, but I have high hopes. I like this idea of a new light source that we're following, although I am very curious who the new narrator will be. But yes, Spaceship Earth, top 10. There's not any more I can say about it. She's iconic inside, she's iconic outside, and we love her. Coming in at number 9 over at Tokyo DisneySea is Sinbad's Storybook Voyage. Now I'm sure a lot of you already know, I don't even have to say it, one word, Shandu. Shandu, 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 Shandu. That's it, Shandu is it. No, but Sinbad's Storybook Voyage is probably one of the best water dark rides out there. The animatronics are insane. The scale of this ride is insane. The song is amazing. Alan Menken didn't have to go that hard on Compass of Your Heart, but he did. This is basically just like an over-glorified Small World, but times 10, and I will continuously ride it every time I visit Tokyo DisneySea, and I highly recommend you do as well. Any ride that creates and stands an icon like Shandu, we have to add to our list. Then at number 8, moving back over to Walt Disney World and Animal Kingdom, we have Expedition Everest. This is also just a nostalgia ride for me. I remember going to Animal Kingdom the year it opened and riding Expedition Everest when the Yeti was working, and it blew my mind. Never in my life did I think I would never see that site again, but thankfully I have that memory. Also, it was one of the first coasters that went backwards that I ever went on, and the design itself is just really cool. Joe Rohde went all out. The queue is very elaborate. I love the whole museum section, the lift hill going backwards, the projections, and of course, if the Yeti was still working, maybe this would be higher up on my list, but it still made it at number 8. It's Expedition Everest. Then at number 7, going over to Disney California Adventure, we have Radiator Springs Racers. Now, I was never a huge fan of the movie Cars, but Cars Land is in one of the most immersive lands in a Disney park, and Radiator Springs Racers is no exception. I loved the ride system of Test Track, but I think they took it to a whole nother level with Radiator Springs Racers, especially with the Cars animatronics and the way they talk, and the fact that not only do you get to live through the story of Cars, but you also get to race against other guests at the end. Now normally I do win a lot, so I'm not gonna brag, green cars all the way, but I always have a wonderful time on Radiator Springs Racers. It's a good thrill rides for kids, it's a good thrill rides for adults. It's a great immersive dark ride and thrill ride all together. I don't think you can go wrong with Radiator Springs Racers. Coming in at number 6, now this was a tough one, but I ultimately went with Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World. I really had a tough time deciding between Tower of Terror in Walt Disney World and the High Tower, Tower of Terror in Tokyo DisneySea, because there's pros and cons to both of them. I love the exterior of the High Tower Hotel and the pre-show and the original story, but I think the thrill factor of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror in Walt Disney World at Hollywood Studios is a lot higher, and I think it's again just the nostalgia factor that I grew up with the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and I always felt a nostalgia towards that story, especially with the Twilight Zone, although I do appreciate the original story and the Imagineering that went into the High Tower Hotel. I just don't think it's as thrilling. They don't have a randomized sequence drop like Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios. So just from the thrill factor alone and nostalgia, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, it's creepy, it's my vibe, I love it. Thus leading us to number 5, moving over to Animal Kingdom in Walt Disney World, it is Flight of Passage in Pandora. This ride actually blew me away. I know it is just a screen ride, it is a glorified Soarin', but there's something to it. I was never really super attached to Avatar as a property, but even after riding in Ikran and going through this whole process of becoming an Avatar and a Na'vi, got me very emotional, and I don't know why. The imagery is beautiful, they have beautiful projections, the fact that you get to feel this Ikran between your legs, or Banshee if you want to call it, is just another added factor. Every time I'm in Animal Kingdom, I always want to ride it, and of course that's how you can tell it is a very popular ride. And of course I have to thank Joe Rohde for putting so much into it again. I still don't know how I get emotional every time, but it's one of the only rides that I'll come off and like semi wipe a tear off from. I guess I connect with the Na'vi. Now, moving on to number 4, some of you may be surprised because you thought this one might be number 1, but at both Disneyland and Hollywood Studios, we have Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. Yeah, it's only number 4, while I do love this ride in the massive scale and like the 3-part story process, from one pre-show room to the ship, to the First Order ship, to the actual ride, is an entire 20-minute experience that Disney Imagineering went above and beyond for. However, I do think it's lacking a little bit of thrill level. Spoilers, there is a semi-drop portion at the end of the ride, which is fun, but it's still not as thrilling that I would have liked for an e-ticket Star Wars attraction. However, with that being said, it is one of the most technological advanced attractions Disney Imagineering has ever built, with the trackless ride system and the drop portion and the beautiful animatronics and the massive scale. I mean, as soon as you walk into that First Order ship, it is literally mind-blowing, and the AT-AT room, it is a beautiful attraction. I think it would be 1 or 2 on this list if there were just a tiny bit more thrills. Now moving on to number 3, it is the Haunted Mansion in Walt Disney World. Now this was another one I had a hard time picking which one I like more. Ultimately, it is Haunted Mansion in Walt Disney World. I love the exterior of Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. However, I think the ride itself in Walt Disney World is the best ride. There are more rooms, there are more effects. Also, I grew up going to Walt Disney World. That is my Haunted Mansion. Disneyland is just another Haunted Mansion. I do appreciate Phantom Manor as well for being different, but like the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion is my Haunted Mansion. Plus I love the fact that they have the extended queue and then the interactive mirrors at the end of the ride. Haunted Mansion will always have a special place in my heart, my creepy, dark heart, because I love anything spooky and anything that relates with ghosts or Halloween. So, I mean, Haunted Mansion is a classic Disney attraction for me and also one of my top favorites. That's why it landed at number 3 on my list. And then we have the final 2. Coming in at number 2 is Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Crystal Skull at Tokyo DisneySea. While Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye is my number 1 favorite ride in Disneyland, the Crystal Skull attraction in Tokyo DisneySea is by far the better Indiana Jones attraction. When Tokyo DisneySea does scale, they do scale. Indiana Jones over there is 2 times bigger and better than Indiana Jones in Disneyland. It takes place in Mexico, so the temple is an Aztec temple, and I love the theming. They actually put like skeletons and dead bodies all over the bottom of this Aztec temple, and I think the effects are a lot greater in this one. There is a tornado that spins in the middle of the ride. I feel like it's even creepier, and one of my least favorite parts about Indiana Jones in Disneyland is that fog branch section and then the stopping in pitch blackness because the car stalled. In Tokyo DisneySea, they actually use that to their advantage. There's no fog branch. There's actually a part where you stop in front of this idol and it blows a fireball at you. And it is a lot cooler and a lot better than in Disneyland. So I think it's just Indiana Jones in Tokyo DisneySea is just a souped up better version than Indiana Jones in Disneyland, and it's already one of my favorite rides. And then there was one. Now some of you may be wondering what the heck is left. Well, staying in Tokyo DisneySea fashion, my number 1 favorite Disney attraction is Journey to the Center of the Earth at Tokyo DisneySea. Now, while I do admit that this probably is not everyone's number 1, this is my number 1 for a lot of personal reasons. First of all, Journey to the Center of the Earth, the volcano exterior is the icon of Tokyo DisneySea, which is one of my favorite Disney parks. And also, I just love the idea of Journey to the Center of the Earth. Obviously, it is not a Disney IP. It is a Jules Verne book, which I was very into. And the queue is like very detailed with like molten lava and almost like Atlantis, the Lost Empire kind of like excavation exhibits. And then of course you have to go down to the center of there, so you take like a virtual elevator down, which is very fun and very interactive. And then the ride itself, oh man, like I mentioned before with Radiator Springs Racers, Journey to the Center of the Earth is that same ride system, but instead of like Test Track and Radiator Springs, you're not in a car, you're in like this excavation digging vehicle that has like a drill in front of it, and you are literally drilling to the center of the earth. It is a very interactive dark ride where you're going through some dark portions. You see some creatures that live in the middle there, similar to like Na'vi River Journey, these wild alien creatures. I love them. And then of course, like every other attraction, things go wrong, and this is what I love, because there's literally this like underworld section you go under where there's like a river in the middle of the earth, and then there's this lightning strike that scares everyone, which I love to see. The first time I rode it, it scared the crap out of me. And then of course we have the climax where you meet the lava monster at the center of the earth, which is a beautiful, beautiful animatronic. One of my favorite animatronics. It is huge. Another ride where Disney went full scale, and I love him. Before you zoom out of the top of the volcano, do a little drop and a quick loop around the entire mysterious island area, and then you are done. To me, it is a ride that has it all. It has thrills, it has beautiful animatronics, it has a dark ride portion, it has literally everything I want in a ride, and I will continue to ride it over and over and over, as Journey to the Center of the Earth is my favorite Disney parks attraction. Anyway, that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this helped you in any time of need, and if you're watching this later in 2020, hopefully we made it through all that, and I'm putting out theme park content again. But let me know down in the comments what your favorite Disney attractions are from around the world, and if you have not subscribed yet, consider subscribing to this channel so you don't miss out on anything I post. There's also some other fun links down in the description for my social media and whatnot. If you want to check that out, you can do so as well. But thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys real soon.